passenger car and Maruti's passenger cars specifically, where we now know that they're going to get costlier from January of 2024 onward. We have Shashank Srivastava, Senior Executive Officer, Marketing and Sales, Maruti Suzuki, joining us on the show. Shashank, thank you for taking time out this morning. Good morning. I want to first begin by asking, what sort of impact are we looking at on consumers? To what extent are the cars going to get expensive, and in what all segments?
Yeah, so first of all, I think the price hikes which which we will be doing from January will be across the board. That means almost all models of ours will be affected by the price hike. Some of them will be affected substantially, though. However, the exact quantum is still being worked out. So I will not be able to give you a guidance on the exact quantum of increase, but it's going to be across the board.
Okay, and which cars are getting more expensive? Because you said some of them will be expensive substantially.
Yeah, so I think it really depends on the cost structures, which we have been actually, yeah, the decision for increasing the price always is the last resort for us. We try to, do cost control and cutting before we finally get to the point where we have to increase prices. Different models obviously affected differently. Larger models as well as some of our hatches, they are also getting affected. And it's largely because of the commodity prices, volatility, in general inflationary pressure, and also steel prices, which have been going up in the recent past.
Shashank, hi, good morning. Is it really fair, and I've asked you this question before and I'm going to repeat myself, is it really fair to pass on all these cost increases to the customers every time, simply because there is that huge demand of, of buying cars? And within cars also, SUVs have sold in excess of 1 million units. So not just yours, this is across the board. But is it fair to always pass on any sort of rise in input cost back to the customer when any reduction in input cost is never corrected by automakers like yourselves?
Yeah, it's a great question, and we also keep debating that. Of course, I must tell you that if you look at the last 3 years, the increase in costs have not really been passed on, and the reason why we haven't done that is because as market leaders, we are also responsible for the general volume levels in the industry, and we are very mindful of that responsibility. So if you look at commodity prices, for example, in 2020, steel was at 38; it had gone up to 84. You had copper at around 5,200, went up to $10,400.
Yeah.
Same trend in aluminum as well. But we never passed on those type of cost increases. Remember, material cost is about 77% of the overall cost structure of any auto OEM.
Shashank, I'm just looking at the Q2 earnings of Maruti, and that is up on the screen right now as we speak. We saw that while revenue had gone up about 23% or so, the net profit for Maruti in Q2 went up as high as about 80%. So then obviously when you're doing more sales and you're getting in more revenue, there is this play in between which is adding to great profitability, which I feel could sometimes be passed on to customers, isn't it?
Yeah, so as I said, we are very mindful, and that's the reason why Maruti Suzuki is most competitive when it comes to prices, and it's not just a this year's phenomena or last year's phenomena. We have we have been really, in terms of prices, really competitive globally, I would say, for the last 40 years. So and also you have to look at, when you look at those figures, you have to obviously break it down by various segments of incomes, including other income, which is income from investments or spare parts, and then you have to take it out, the new vehicle sale income separately. That
Okay.
would show you a different picture.
All right, and Jan is when you're saying the price hikes are going to actually kick in.
Yes.
But that in any case is usually the regular phenomena, right? Because you don't really want to keep stockpiles at showrooms ahead of the new model and the new year really rolling out. So in any case, I think December is when you want to offer more discounts and dealers want to offer more discounts, and the price hike in Jan is usually in any case meant to happen. But this year itself, you have have increased prices already in the month of April by about 2.5%. And prior to that, I think there was a little under 1% price rise in any case done by Maruti. So are we going to see more of these seasonal fluctuations, not just restricted to the month of Jan alone and Jan onwards, but every quarter are we likely to see more such increases?
Yeah, so first of all, let me correct you that this year we have increased the price only once, which was in 3rd April. And the quantum of price increase was not 2.5, it was 0.8%. And as I said, we are very mindful of increasing prices. It's a last resort for us. We never wanted to disturb the volume momentum which we were seeing this year. And that's the why, if you look and compare across the industry, Maruti Suzuki's price hike of only 0.8% is actually the lowest. So we are very mindful of that. And talking about the timing of January, normally speaking, January is a good time for some of the reasons that you mentioned. Of course, consumers don't want to take stocks of the previous year's model year. There is this, psychological barrier to that. And that's why that's also translated in the inventory levels trying to be built down towards the end of December by the channel partners. And that is why you see December generally is a month of low wholesales from the OEMs. Nobody wants to carry large stocks, and also higher retail stride through higher sales promotion levels. That's true. That has been true for the previous years, and not necessarily for the last 2-3 years, because last 2-3 years we have seen supply side disruptions because of semiconductor and previously because of COVID.
Okay, and while you're here, Shashank, we can't miss the opportunity to ask you any new models that we can expect in 2024. We know your EV range is going to kick off in 25, but in 2024, are there new variants, new trims or new models altogether that we can look forward to? Because 2023 has been a fairly stellar year. You've had the Jimny, you've had the Invicto, and you've had the Fronx, but prior to that, of course, you had the Grand Vitara. But are we expected to see some launches in 24 as well?
What exciting things are coming out of Maruti's stable? I think that's the question that we want to know at this point.
Yeah, so 24-25, you will see obviously new models, and EV will also come in 24-25. We work by the financial year basis.
Okay.
And yes, in terms of, while I cannot really reveal the exact details of the new models which will be launched, but I can tell you that if you look at our history, we have been very, very bullish about introducing new products, and that's the reason why we have the largest portfolio of models and brands in the industry today.
Right.
That's
so don't give us exact models, Shashank, but do give us what segment of EVs are you going to enter into first?
So EVs will be into the mid SUV segment.
Okay.
It's the EX. You would have seen during the Auto Expo, we displayed not a proto, it's a show model of that vehicle. And we are very much on course, and as per plan, we'll be launching the EVX in 24-25 financial.
Okay, and give us a hint of what you're likely to price it at. What is your competition? Don't give us the exact price, but that would compete against which existing models in India?
We are working out the prices, though, so I can't really tell you what the price would be, but I can tell you that we'll be going to be very, very competitive.
All right. Shashank Srivastava, thank you very much, sir, for taking time out. Thank you for joining us here on Newsline.